What are common signs of bacterial issues? How to prevent cross-contamination when bringing in new discus to your room? And what are the treatment options for bacterial issues? Today we're going to talk about the 50-gallon with the bacterial issue I had a few weeks ago. We're going to go over the results of how it went. Started with 14 discus, 10 of my own and 4 I brought in. Put them together way too early. My fault. I was having some issues in my life and I was trying to consolidate because I knew I wasn't going to be in the room a few days. I had crossed this supplier with mine before, but I just did a little quicker and I paid the price. Well, I would recommend definitely minimum 30 days before you cross mixed discus from different sources, but I would go up to 60 days just to be safe. I'm going to go over what I believe would help if you do put those discs together, even at 30, 45, 60 days, 90 days. I lost 7 discus, all mine. All my biggest ones went, and it actually was in order. The biggest fish went first, and then down the line, and the 3 that are left, they're still good sized discus. They were some of my top discus, but I lost all my very, very top big discus. It was unfortunate, but I just knew I had some family issues. I knew I wasn't going to be around, so I was trying to put them together with better water quality. And I didn't look at the time I had those fish. It was only about 21 days, not enough time to have those fish in your room. But I did save 3 of mine. So some common signs for bacterial issues is obviously they get lethargic, they stop eating, usually they go dark. That's usually a great sign. And I've even noticed they stop paying attention to you. They kind of are just, not feeling well, and they just kind of go off into a corner and sit, sometimes facing away from you if they're really sick. So anytime that happens, it's time to look at the discus and see what's going on. So that's one of the first things I noticed. But also, I noticed on some of the bigger ones, after they had passed, and I want to say something about this. It always sucks losing fish, right? It's terrible. But as long as we're learning something, and I learned a lot about this situation, also you'll notice their fins will start getting a little ratty, or even scallop. They'll kind of do a little scalloping. The most effective ones started first. So usually when you see that in the tank, that tank has a bacterial issue. Now bacteria can be on the external, but usually if it's on the external, it's internal too, so you have to treat them accordingly. So one thing I've learned is when I actually introduce 2 different sources of discus together, being my discus and an outside source together, what I'm going to start doing now is it's a 60-day quarantine, okay? Whether I'm treating them or not, they're going to stay separate for those 2 months, period. That's just standard operating procedure now. That's a system, right? We have a system now. And unfortunately, it took the death of some fish to learn the system and how we're going to do it different. But next, huge, okay? When I put those together, even at 60 days, and hopefully they've gotten cleaned up and the bacterial is not so much of an issue, but during that 60 days, I'm going to do a salt treatment for them. It's a 3-day salt treatment, and I'd probably do on the fish coming in separately, I'd probably do like a 1 to 5, all right? 1 to 10, 1 to 5, something there in that range. So that's 1 tablespoon to 5 gallons of water. I let them sit in that for 3 days. That's going to help the bacteria adjust to my room and kill off any external bacteria and also internal bacteria in those fish. Now, they're not sick, but what I'm trying to do is trying to kill their bacterial load they brought with them to my room. So what I will do then is take the existing fish, leave them in their tank, take one of my fish and put them in that tank, and then observe them for 3 days. In that 3 days, I will do another salt treatment. So they probably got a salt treatment between 20 to 30 days, and then a 3-day, and then the 3-day when I introduce the new fish. I will put a reminder on my phone to check in the morning and at night and observe the tank. If I see any scalloping going on, or if I see any hiding, or if I see any darkening. Now the darkening might happen just from stress, so that's not a for sure sign, but that's a great sign to check and say, oh, okay, let me look a little closer. But I still have the line and the strain, which is a pure wild cross strain, so it's still a great strain and I can make it work. And just because a fish isn't huge, as long as when you breed and you get nice fish out of that stock, you're going to still have that gene pool, right? And if they breed back, you will still get big fish out of them, right? But you don't want to use poor fish with poor finnage or pointy faces and stuff like that for breeding. So these are great fish still. It's just that it was a very painful thing to sit and watch. I was coming in after 2 or 3 days and seeing fish laying on their sides and dying. So I sprung into action. Now, how did I treat that tank to try to save those 3? The 4 myrtle discus were not affected at all, right? They ate, they were normal, so obviously they brought that bacteria in. And my strain just couldn't handle that bacteria because it was so foreign to them. So first thing I did was 1 to 3, right? I went 1 to 3 the first day and I watched. And I noticed a little improvement. So the second day I went 1 to 1, okay? Don't do that if you have plants. This is for quarantine tanks, bare tanks. But one thing I noticed is once I went from 1 to 3 to 1 to 1, the ones that were not affected dramatically started to get a little bit more energy in them, and you could tell that bacteria was being affected by the salt. So then what I did after the 3 days, I did a huge water change, and then I did a 4-day erythromycin on them, right? And they've all recovered and they look great. They're resetting the pecking order because it was never set from the first, because within a day everything started to go south in this tank. So you're probably asking, for someone who's been doing so long, how did this happen? Well, it was distraction. I wasn't focused on what I had to do to make this work, right? And it was a lesson that I will take for the future. And that's why this video is important, because if I can help one person not go through what I just went through, that's huge. You know, I've been doing this a long time, but I still make mistakes, right? I still mess up. And I do it a lot less, obviously, but I still mess up because it's usually a fact of not being focused, but also using my phone as a tool, right? Setting reminders, writing stuff on tanks. I can't stress enough how important just writing a note on a tank is, because especially when you got a room, you got so much kind of going on everywhere, you can get distracted real quick. You know, I do my water changes in the morning, I go to work. Sometimes I'm just running through this room and trying to get everything done in 45 minutes and then get out of here. That's water changes, feeding, you know. Sometimes on Sundays I stay in here for 2 or 3 hours and just do fine tuning and everything. But during the week it's about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm in this room, I'm taking care of business, and I'm moving on. So I can't focus on individual tanks or individual issues. I'm trying to do a broad sweep of the room and get out and get my day started. So that answers the third question, what treatment options? I would say definitely salt. Salt is magic, right? I'm almost positive that stuff will cure cancer. Extreme, I know, I'm just kidding on that, but the salt is a great tool. And it's kind of my first go-to now, because we want to jump to the meds right away, right? That's something. We kind of just go to those meds because they're proven. But I don't think there's been enough work on salt. And I just think that it's a tool that should be in everyone's fish room and should be used first, or in conjunction with a lot of meds. Now, don't ever use salt with praziquantel, right? Because praziquantel is to get flukes out, right? Flukes on the body. You start putting salt with prazi, and basically what you've done is you've created a barrier on that fish where those flukes can sometimes hide, because you put a big slime coat, because that's what it does. It produces slime, and that's what sometimes we want. But it also relaxes the fish. It calms the fish down. It treats bacterial. It treats fungus, right? Is it 100%? No, but it's a great start. So I would highly recommend you always have salt on hand. Now you're going to say, what kind of salt? It doesn't really matter. Sodium chloride is sodium chloride. I personally like sea salt because of the trace minerals. I just feel I've used aquarium salt and sea salt, ocean salt, and I have my own blend that I had done, and I've had tons of trace minerals put in there for this reason. And I just find that they do a little better. Can I prove that scientifically? I can't. It's just something that I feel like over time, I feel like It's just a better situation with the sea salt. But do any salt, right? Just have it on hand, and have a lot of it on hand, because it can be a Sunday night, you don't have your meds, or something's not right, or something's not looking right. You can use heat and salt. So heat's another one, okay? What that does is it kicks up metabolism, not only in the fish, but if there's a parasite, it kicks up their metabolism, and that salt dehydrates parasites. So that combination sometimes will help get you through until you can have your medicines. But I would always recommend having medications on hand. And if you're not using them for a long time, just stick them in the fridge. Secure them. Obviously, you don't want kids or anything getting into those meds into your refrigerator. You know, you can get a little Loctite or something, or hide it, or put it in a bag. I don't know, but just secure it. But if my meds aren't being used, they're in the fridge. That's something I just do because I just feel like I get longevity out of them. And you see these guys here, they just got out of their metro treatment the other day. They were in 90-degree water for 5 days. They did their metro treatment. It came out really well. Nothing, they were eating the whole time. So I think the one little wild guy right here, he was the guy that was affected. But here's the thing, if this guy's affected, to me, this tank is affected. So the tank needs to be treated. And I can't stress enough, you guys, when you're looking at fish, look at tanks. Don't look at fish, right? When I'm feeding the fish, I don't feed fish, I feed tanks. When I'm treating fish, I don't treat fish, I treat tanks, okay? When I look at ecosystems, I don't look at the fish in the ecosystem, I look at the tank as an ecosystem. So I'm looking at, bacterial loads, I'm looking at heat. So I'm always looking at the tank. Yes, the fish are the sign that I need to know something's wrong, but there's not necessarily always something wrong with the fish. Sometimes there's something wrong with the tank, and I feel like we're so focused on the fish because they're expensive and they're gorgeous, and we want to make sure they've got the best possible, scenario as far as staying healthy. And these guys are super healthy. I can't believe, because I don't really do the metro treatment as prophylactic or pre. I always kind of wait on that. But I might be changing my mind on that, because if I do the levamisole and I do the prosy, and then if I do the metro, I'm pretty much covered on 98% of what I need to take care of. And with that prosy, there's erythromycin in there, so it's bacterial. So I just feel like I might switch that, but I'm going to do more testing on that. I'm still not convinced on the metronidazole, because the symptoms are very, very, very apparent when you need metro. You get that fish with that long stringy white poo, and you see that, and it's almost 99% of the time spironucleus. But here's the thing, you got to really look, because if you look at the string, if it looks like a string, literally if it looks like a little white thread, then that's usually the spiro. But if it's kind of clear and it's got like little ridges, now I'm not talking about tapeworm. Tapeworm's treated with the prosy. But if it's like clear and you can kind of see the intestines, they shed their linings, and so they shed their gastrointestinal linings, where the food goes, and you can see it. It's a lot different. It's like let's say your skin peeling. You can kind of see that, and you can kind of see through it. So it's different. It has that texture where it looks like you peeled skin. So basically they're shedding their gastrointestinal lining, right? And that's very normal in discus. They shed them a lot, and don't get freaked out. So you have to know the difference on identifying that situation with the white string and then the flakiness or the peeling skin. It looks like that. It almost looks the same. It's tubular, but it's a little more hollow. You can see through it almost. So I'm kind of debating on the metronidazole if I'm going to use that as a pre-treatment. Kind of leaning towards, because playing catch up with these fish is hard. And I have just found over the years, if I stay vigilant and I really work on them, because you got to remember, I breed these fish. So last thing I want to do is put sick fish in a breeding situation and then have their fry affected, because now not only are you on an uphill battle with the breeding pair, which will not produce well, but the fry are affected. And sometimes you can wipe out a full spawn of fry because of it. They call it 30, 60, 90-day syndrome. And they believe it's because of flukes. That's what they think, but that's not proven. It could be bacterial, it could be a lot of things, right? Today, everything looks great. 3 weeks ago, this place was in turmoil, right? We were playing. I want to correct that. It wasn't in turmoil because I knew what to do. I had a plan, and I went to the plan, and the plan worked. Yes, I lost fish, and I feel it's brutal, right? Because these were gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fish. But I learned a lot. So anytime through failure, you can have future success by learning from those failures, right? That's just the way life works, but that's how especially fish keeping works, because there's so much garbage on the internet, and I'm just giving you my opinion. You know, you can believe me, you don't have to believe me. This is just one guy's opinion that just works with these fish every single day and works with a lot of them. And I'm pretty successful, but I still make mistakes. Alright, so this is for the hardcores. I've been working really hard to be able to ship around the world, right? International shipping. Something that was really important to me because I have people that watch from all over the world, and people contact me and they're kind of bummed that they can't buy my products. So I have worldwide shipping now. It's through eBay, but you can get through a portal on my website, and just a tagline on top, international shipping, and there's one at the bottom, international shipping. Click on that. Now what you're going to notice is the prices are going to be slightly different than my website, and the reason why is because it's through eBay. eBay takes, after it's all said and done, you know, they say 3%, they say 5%, they say 10, they say 12. It's around 20% they take, right? So I raised the prices, and if you want to buy multiple items, and shipping is going to be separate, right? What I will do is I will combine everything and drop that shipping and refund you shipping costs as best as possible. Now I still have to pay for shipping, and I still have to pay time for packing, which is not a lot. I only charge like $3 or $4 to pack, and that's including the material. So I don't charge a lot. It was really important for me to get worldwide shipping. Alright, so if you have any questions, contact me through the comments or through my email, shellerquatics@gmail.com. My phone number is on the website if you need to contact me that way. Only text though. My phone does not take phone calls. I can call out to people, but it's designed just to take text, this number. So, and that was on purpose because sometimes I'm working through the day and I can't answer phones. So basically from 9 to like 4 or 5, I can't answer my phone because I'm usually dealing with clients, I'm dealing with, you know, huge homes, and I'm on site. So I can't sit and talk on the phone. I have to take care of people, I have to take care of employees, I have to take care of stuff. So, but you can text me, and usually I will text you back within the hour. And then if it's something that's really, really, really important, I would schedule a time and call you back. And that's worldwide. I don't really care about, you know, as far as where you live. If you got a problem and you need help and I can help, or if I have a suggestion, I will help you, okay? I'm not doing this to make a ton of money. Yes, I make money off my website. I do. But I've been doing YouTube for 3 years and I've made zero, nothing, right? And that's fine because I don't like to count on other people for my money, and that's why this eBay thing is a little sketchy. But I was trying to find all kinds of places to ship my stuff worldwide, and everything was just so out of line, but also the hassle of setup. So I think there's like 9 or 10 countries I can't ship to, and that's usually because they're war torn, or there's, you know, they're just not there to, they don't have the infrastructure to set up to take packages in and out of their country right now. But I would say 98% of the countries I can ship to now. So take a look at the website. You know, I'm not saying buy something, but at least look at it and take a look at it. And if you have any comments or any questions, just let me know. Okay, so I made this video because about 3 weeks ago was the mess up, and I filmed it, and it's on YouTube. If you want to check out that video that inspired this video, go check it out over here, alright? All right, guys, take care. Any questions, comments, let me know.